Om Shanti, everyone. First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone for taking the first step and taking out time on a busy weekend to learn something new. This course is a part of all of us. Basically, we deal with it almost daily in our lives. There is a specific aspect of understanding integration with self, which in turn leads to peace of mind, personal happiness, that adds definitely value to our life. So we learn to act, respond, rather than just reacting to each and every situation which comes on our way. I would like to interact and make this course really interactive. So I would really love to see everyone's lovely faces. If not possible, please unmute yourself or use the chat boxes to interact during the course so that it is beneficial for both of us, both basically for every one of us. So we will be asking some questions on the way. We'll be doing activities, meditation during the way. Okay. So I am Bhavna and I work in IT industry. I am a software engineer by profession. I love to interact with people, everyone. So that's why I'm here to explore this topic in more depth with you all. I have brother Pankaj with me who works in an automotive industry who will be discussing the course with me as we go along. Pankaj bhai, would you like to say hello to our friends?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Bhavna. Yes, thank you, and welcome everybody. So, as Bhavna Ben mentioned, I work in the automotive industry, and personally, I've benefited a lot from these courses. I think just like you have, maybe started and looked at this course now, but I have done this course also just like you a few years ago, and since then, I've tried to practice a few things, and hence we are here to share our experiences. But yeah, lovely to have you all here today, and look forward to the interaction. But is there anyone here for the very first time by any chance? I just wanted to check with is anyone who's not attended any of the previous courses that we've done in the Upton Park Center in the last few weeks? Because we're doing similar courses every weekend. So is there anyone here for the first time? You can either raise your hand or unmute or however you feel comfortable. Okay, hi, okay, Nadia, okay, yes, okay, and okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to read the chat box there. Okay, Busba, no problem, that's fine. And you've not done this course and you've not done any other course, I believe. So you're here for the first time. And Nadia, see, you're here for the first time as well. So yeah, welcome to both of you, and I'm sure rest of you have attended similar courses we've been doing at Upton Park Center, like this just now, like we've started. So special welcome to all of you. And yeah, let's begin. Hopefully, there will be a lot more interaction as we go along.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay. So, okay. So just to say, tell you, we have already told we are obviously doing the main session in this, but just to highlight the main aim of this course, aim of this course will be to empower ourselves and become more positive, increase the positive thoughts and decrease basically those negative guests which often comes and knocks your door, become aware of our thoughts, explore habitual thought patterns, be mindful of what we think, and shift that lens of viewing at things, and basically enhance our inner qualities to think positive. So course has been divided into 4 sessions. We will cover the first 2 sessions today, and rest we will be covering tomorrow. So today we will be dealing with exploring the mind and thoughts, and look at recognizing the influences on thinking. Then we will work toward developing the self awareness, and later we will see to add that in our way of living and remain positive in our daily life. Okay, let's start with exploring the mind and thoughts. So let's again see what's the aim of this session. Aim of this session will be basically to understand the way our mind works and how these thoughts are created and the way they are interrelated with our feelings and the actions we perform. So the objectives of this session will be to understand the benefits of positive thinking, be mindful, aware of how thoughts, feelings, choices, habits, and actions are interrelated, being aware of influences on thinking, and then later we will be doing a guided meditation to reflect on our experience on the same. Okay, so this is interesting. So let's start with a question and an activity at the same time. What is a thought? So I just open the floor for everyone to just unmute themselves or just type it in the chat boxes. What is a thought? What do you think is a thought? Anyone?
It's an emotion or a feeling through your mind.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So let's do an activity and then we will see what is a thought in a better way. Okay. Let's just sit back and relax. And let's just stop thinking anything for 20 seconds. Just 20 seconds. Not more than that. Okay. Let's start. Okay. So now you can start thinking. So would you like to share any experience? Were you able to stop thinking? Like, and was it totally blank or did something like come across your mind in that time frame?
No, I couldn't. I think I was thinking something else now.
Okay. So basically you were focusing from one thought to another, but basically you were thinking something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Pankaj brother, were you able to stop thinking?
I think no, you can't. I don't think we can go to a zero thought. It's not easy for me. No.
No, yeah, that's true, right? Actually,
Yeah.
thoughts, the moment I said stop your thought, the very first thing was we were focusing on or pressurizing our mind to stop it, right? It's not an on off switch. We'll just not just switch off the button. No, right? So that is correct. We can't stop thinking. So my question was, what
And
is a thought? Right? Sorry, come again. Who's someone?
no, I thought I'm wrong. Thank God it is right. What I have gone through.
No, you're right. Okay, so each thought is like a seed. There's a beautiful metaphor here. You are actually relating your thought to a seed, right? So basically you can't you whatever you sow, right? You sow it and it start growing and developing, right? So as soon as I gave you the thought, don't think, right? That time only you start either you it basically started growing, increasing, developing, that you don't have to think, okay, I have to stop. And somewhat this type of thought started coming to your mind, right? So I'll take it as an example, okay? Suppose you get a call from a manager, right? In the morning, right? Asking you for a late evening meeting. You have choices. You have initial thought, but there are two choices to that. One way is you start getting stressed, anxious, that the boss is going to fire me, or he's going to speak about my issues in the work or my productivity or some XYZ reasons will be there having in your mind, which will just go on and on. The second way is you think that everything is going to be fine, everything is going to be perfect. He might think about my promotion based on my work which I had completed in the past, right? So there are some things. Now, in the first way which we thought that was a negative thought, what happens? I thought that I'll be fired, right? Basically, that person thought he'll be fired. He becomes more anxious. His physical reactions, actions all changed. He became more stressed, more anxious. He had an increased heartbeat. He became worried, started to overthink. Basically, he was preparing himself for criticism. I might be fired. I might be my manager is going to yell at me, or because of my lower productivity, and so on, right? So what will I do? My actions change, my physical emotions change, and now what happened? I will mess up with all my morning tasks, right? I will just prepare for the criticism whole day. All the productivity went down, and at the evening, in the evening also, things didn't go well in the meeting. But on the other hand, if I just reframe that thought, right? You just reframe that thought. What is the proof? Do you have any proof, or did the manager say I have to talk this specific thing with you? No, right? So the thing is, you have to just shift your paradigm to think something different. Now you could think that maybe I did something good in the past, and now my manager needs to talk to me about that. So what will happen? My physical response and my action will change. I'll be more calmer. I'll be more confident. My heart rate is definitely going to decrease. I'll be more focused and productive during the day. And really, these vibrations, these energy will definitely go, and you'll be more prepared for the meeting in the evening, right? Which is going to happen. So this is an example of how your thought actually uh, gets gets increased with the way you think it. So just a change in the initial thought will let it grow in a positive direction, right? So you have to be with this example, we learn that we have to be mindful of the thought. If we sow a positive thought or a negative thought, it is going to grow exponentially. So basically, you have to just notice your thoughts, pause, and reflect, and change the lens through which basically you have to look at a particular situation. I'll start with another example. Suppose you want to be healthy and lose weight, right? So that thought is your seed. You sow that seed, you have that in your mind. What you will start doing? You will start exercising, eating slowly, eating mindfully. And what will happen? You will gradually shift towards healthy eating habits. You'll start losing weight, or maybe getting more fitter, standing in the kitchen, or running for maybe, or walking. Even when you were not able to walk even 1,000 steps, you're now covering 1,000 steps. So gradually, so it depends on your goals, right? So gradually, and gradually, whatever you try to think, it basically starts moving towards that. Now, in this case, better physical well-being, and basically you will achieve your goals at the end. So it is our choice if we need a garden full of flowers or a garden full of weeds and thorny bushes. Okay, so guys, you can see a man with a lot of thoughts, emotions here, right? So these are I'm sure, like, positive and negative thoughts is something which each of us know, right? Positive thought is the one that creates a positive feeling within ourselves, like happy, joyful, something which always bring benefit to yourself and other people. That's a positive thought. I, I'm capable of achieving my goals. I'm capable of overcoming any roadblocks across. This is a thought, right? So it's a positive thought. I'm more confident. I can achieve it. I can definitely do it. I can definitely run this marathon, be it in a last position. But if you set a target and you complete it, that's a positive thought towards it, which is basically benefiting you. Now, negative thought is something which makes the feeling of my heart heavy, anxious, stressed. Basically, this decreases the power to respond to a situation, and your energy gets drained. You're draining your energy and just thinking negatively, affecting your health. Everything is there. So that is a negative thought. Now we have on the screen, you will see there are two other type of thoughts. One is the waste and other is ordinary thought. I'll first take the ordinary thought. Ordinary thought is a essential thought, is a necessary thought. Like, I have to brush my teeth. I have to go to office. And post that, I'll go to bank. So these are the things, these are ordinary work-related tasks which you're doing daily and gradually, right? Now, there is a type of thoughts which are known as waste thoughts. Okay, these are the major showstoppers in our lives. And I'm sure most of us are doing this in our daily lives, and might be some are changing it also, categorizing it also. But this is a thought which is more prevalent. So these are the thoughts which are normally running in our mind. Things which are not in our control. We just keep thinking about those, like others' nature, character, the behavior of other person, which is not in our control. Why that person is wearing a branded dress? He was not able to even get a salary last month. How is that possible? Why did that person talk negative to me? I was so good to that person. I was super good to that person, but I don't know why he always talks to me like that. Next time, I'm not going to talk to that person, right? So what happens with this waste thought? That negative thought gets created, right? You're thinking, I'm not going to talk to that person at all because he has not been kind to me. So these thoughts get reiterated in our mind, although we know that this is not in our control. Another person's behavior is not in our control, right? We have to think of our thoughts. We have control on our thoughts, our situation, but not on others' thoughts. Now let's take an example of our budget, right? Government raised taxes on XYZ things, right? We don't have any control. We have to obey by them those rules, right? Now there's a bad weather. Oh, I have to go to the picnic today. Oh my God, if the bad weather is bad, then I'll have those ways thought. Now what will happen? This will happen. There is raining outside, right? Heavy raining, and I'm stuck in the traffic. I'm stuck in the road traffic. Okay, I'll start thinking, I'll just reiterating the thought, okay, I have to pick the bakeries, I have to pick the dry clean clothes, now every shop will be closed. All these, which basically leads to drainage of your energy just by thinking them, are known as waste thoughts. So basically, the things which are not in our control, right? We keep on being tangled around this chain of thoughts, which is never ending. And this is going to be draining our, depleting our power bank. So what is like being in past or being in future is not in our hands. What is going to happen, worrying about that is not in our happen. And what has happened in the past is not in our hands now. We can only shift in the lens, positive lens, through which we can see whatever happened in the past, we can change it by acting it correctly. But we cannot change what happened in the past or whatever is going to happen in the future. You have a power bank and it is going to deplete. So there is a famous saying in Hindi, abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. So let's try to be mindful of the situation now. Power lies in now, and streamline the energy to gain that power. Okay, so by now we have seen all the examples. What do you think? What are the type of thoughts that make you feel good? Anyone? Positive, negative, waste, or necessary? Anyone? Okay. So we all know that positive thoughts are the one which makes us feel good. We remain a power bank. We basically charge our power bank by only thinking positive and in the right direction and our way of looking at things. Sometimes we try to just suppress and battle with our thoughts. It's just we always in with juggling with this thought, okay, we have to don't have to do this. So let's there is an you can do try doing is what you can try doing is try to make mind your friend. By making your the mind your friend, you're basically your mind is going to cooperate. No, but your friend is not going to do that bad with you. How would you treat it, right? If you make it your friend, right, you're going to treat it well, and definitely it is going to cooperate with you and create thoughts that are positive and beneficial. Just try to self talk, learn to love, accept and appreciate our mind and ourselves, which is most important. Okay, so there is a famous saying, okay, by Frank Outlaw. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. And watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, and it becomes your destiny. Okay, so it's a question again for the audience. So what becomes your destiny? What will you change to make your destiny accurate? What do you think?
Change your character,
No.
change your habit.
Yes. So by changing your character, you change your habits. And by changing your habits, what did you change? Your actions, right? And by actions, you change your words, and your words actually change your thoughts. So in turn, the destiny is connected to your thought process. The way you think, the way that your destiny is going to build up. Okay. Okay. So that is the same thing. As you think, so you are. So at this point, we are going to discuss one activity or a tool, how to think and how to catch. We saw that there are a lot of thoughts. There are type of thoughts, right? Now, what you have to do is maybe if you would like to do that, we maybe in the night or first thing in the morning, whenever you get up, you try to journal. You try to journal. There is a mindful journaling technique. So what you do is you have to categorize your thoughts, what we have just learned. You have to categorize your thoughts and see what is the thought, what are those thoughts which is actually draining your energy during the day. So what could have been done better in that situation, right? So this is the way to do that. Now, suppose like people like me who don't love journaling it, although that is a very good activity, but sometimes like you don't want to write, right? At that point, try to just relax, do some do some deep breaths and try to be silent or listen to some music and try to think through the day what happened which lets you maybe angry, lets you being anxious, right, stressed, and try to think. I'm sure like most of your thoughts like which are of no importance to you are going to go away, right? Only thoughts which are left, right, will be there and you can categorize them and just think of the way how you can be better the next day. Like I'll take an example. If the kid is actually throwing tantrums on eating a particular dish, right, you have. So next day, maybe you can change the pattern or what that situation helped you, right? Or what was the situation at that point of time which actually created that scenario in front of you. So you have to change that the next day and deal with this that situation more powerfully, right? So that is a tool I would like to suggest everyone. If you can just try whenever you get time and make that this a practice in your life to come. And I and Pankaj Bhai, when we was discussing on this thought, we tried to actually do this activity. And Pankaj Bhai, I think we got benefit out of this, right? and we were able to concentrate, focus more.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good activity, definitely. Definitely to try.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, indeed.
Okay, Pankaj bhai, let's think of this.
Okay. So thank you. I'll go through some slides with everyone now as well. So thank you, Bhavna Ben. I think it's great to know, first of all, I guess the gist of what we've just heard is that okay, so our destiny can be in our hands. That's something really new. And when I first heard it, it was definitely new for me, because I thought that destiny is made, up there, and somebody has made this line in our hands, and we're just following that destiny, and whatever it brings me on. But then a few questions were asked later on in my life, and those questions I said, okay, if somebody's making my destiny, then why did somebody on the street not get a good destiny? What was the problem? Why would a parent, let's say, there is somebody, my parent is making my destiny, and if you're a parent and you have a few kids, then why would you make one kid's destiny like a superstar and the other guy not so much? So you would want to, as a parent, give equal to all your kids. So that's one question that came to me. And then of course there were other questions, and then I realized, okay, so there is an element of course there are two camps. Destiny is not in my hands, destiny is in my hands. But then I realized that what is the construct of destiny, which I think Bhavna Ben just explained. And we realize that it's our character, it's our actions. Whatever actions we make, that if I'm a good action maker, I help everybody, and I have good intentions in my life, and so on and so on, then everybody will say, oh my god, this is a really good guy, I need to stay with him, I need to work with him, give him a job, whatever. So suddenly whatever I did out of whatever I acquired from my family and from my friends and from everywhere, people started giving me something back. And then I realized, okay, so if I can improve this, then maybe my destiny gives me more back. And then the question is, what do I improve? What do I change? Do I change my character? But then to change my character, I have to change my actions. And how do I change my actions? And I have to change my, habits. And if I have to change my habits, how do I change my habits? That's the most toughest part. Well, it's thoughts. We all learn. So thank you for sharing. That was a beautiful one. So maybe if we want to just at this point have maybe a 5-minute meditation on this meditation is called Seeds of Benevolence. We just learned that thought is like a seed. So let's look at what quality of seed can we give that can give me the destiny I want. So this is just a little example. So maybe we will play this 5-minute meditation. You're welcome to, just sit and listen to it, even with your eyes open. There is, you can just listen and just try and understand what you're hearing, and so on. And then let's just interact afterwards. So let me see if I can share my screen here and hopefully share my meditations sound. Okay, hopefully you can see this.
Means that I plant seeds of pure compassion and love. To plant seeds of benevolence means that I plant seeds of pure compassion and love in the world. It means that from my heart I truly want to reach out and uplift the world around me. Of the soul, true benevolence cannot be hear contrived. It comes from one. One is the sound of peace inside. When the heart is the sound of the beauty of the world. When the mind is quiet. But the other, when we can drop our stories and dramas, the sound and be in the pure energy. Our ability to hear the pain and respond to that pain like a mother would to a crying child becomes enhanced by silence. To be benevolent, I have to learn to be silent. Take a moment now and just let everything go. Let your stories go, let the drama go. And visualize yourself up on a beautiful mountain, high, high above the world. A place of pristine and pure silence. Where you can feel that great quiet mystery of the world. Breathe this silence in until it infuses every cell, every part of your being. Allow this stillness to massage your being until you feel completely relaxed. And now prepare yourself to plant this silence in the world through your mind. Imagine that above you there is a divine, pure, and beautiful light. The light of the supreme energy. And feel this light as it cascades down on the world below you. Feel this light as it pours like a waterfall, washing away the worries of the world, cleaning every mind, refreshing every heart. Just visualize this healing light pouring over the entire world, soothing hearts, soothing fears, healing the elements, nurturing every mind so that the whole world feels a sense of connection, so that the whole world somehow senses they are not alone but are infinitely connected to an abundant source of light and love. If I truly want to be benevolent, I have to learn the art of silence and create these small moments where I drop my story and send out peaceful, pure energy to the world around me. And I can do this while I'm with friends and family. I can do this while I'm going about my daily chores and duties. All I have to do is drop my story, be still, and send the world the energy of pure peace and love. This practice can do wonders.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. So, like we said in that slide, as you think, so you are. So when we start thinking positive, we start becoming positive. And as we start becoming positive, we start emitting positivity. And as we do that, people around us also start becoming positive, which is great. So let me see if I've got can move the slides. Okay, maybe I'll just try again. Yeah. So let's look at some of the common examples that we have. In this slide, I think we're taking an example of a negative cycle that we go through in our day-to-day thoughts. So the example here that we've taken is an example of passing a driving test. So let's say if I'm about to give a driving test, and the first thought that comes to me is that I'm not good enough. So if I say I'm not good enough, the place I will start is I will start creating this thought, I'm not good enough. That will be the first step of my thought process. So as I'm thinking I'm not good enough, the first thing that happens is that I start imagining myself as failing, because we all think in pictures. We are like it's like visualization. So if I say the word apple to you, if I say apple, I've got apple in my hand. Is anybody seeing the word apple, A-P-P-L-E, in my hand? No, probably visualizing that there is an apple. Some people might be thinking it's a green apple. Some people might be thinking it's a red apple. But as soon as I mention a word, my mind is creating a picture. So as soon as I say I'm not good enough, I start imagining myself failing. So I'll see myself driving in the wrong way, going in the wrong direction, maybe, passing a red light not correct, or the speed was not correct, or so on and so on. So I start creating these images. And as soon as I create that image, then what happens? Then I start thinking, oh, there was that situation where I didn't do well. There was that situation where I didn't do well. And when I was doing that exam or my test or my practice, it didn't go well. I never mark my gears properly. I never look at the clutch properly, and something will come up. And as a result of these two things, I have a feeling. I have a feeling. And that feeling is most likely to be either fear or anxiety or worry or one of these negative feelings. Now, the question is, why did I get this feeling of fear, anxiety, worry? Because of what? What was the reason that I got this feeling? Who can tell me? What is the reason I got this feeling of being fearful or worry or anxious? What was the reason?
Your thought.
Correct, my thought. So if I want to, at some point, not have this feeling, what can I change? Pretty obvious, I guess, my thought. But what do we try and change when we have feelings like that? Like, let's say I'm feeling bored. Then what do? We don't see what thought is causing that feeling. We straight away go, let's have a Kit Kat, take a break, have a Kit Kat, or try and do something else, not understanding why am I getting this feeling. It could be any feeling at any time. So continuing with this example, when I have this thought, I'm not good enough, I don't realize that I have this thought. It's subconsciously there in my head, but I'm getting this feeling of being fearful to give the exam, or feeling worried to give the exam. So as soon as I feel worried or fearful, I have this heavy feeling in the heart. Like, Bhavna Ben explained that any negative emotion is like a heaviness in the heart. And we all have experienced it. It's like that heaviness here. But if I have that feeling, one good way is you just put your hands on your heart and just try and understand, why am I feeling fearful? Why am I feeling worried? What is the reason? There must be a thought. And sometimes it's in the subconscious mind. Sometimes I don't even realize it. But the reason is I'm saying to myself in a hidden way that I'm not good enough. I don't think I can pass this exam. So that's the reason I'm feeling that fearful. But as soon as that fear is there and I don't do anything about it, then I continue with the negative cycle. Then I take the test with that feeling and I get the failure, which is most likely 99 or 95%. I mean, there is luck and there is, good wishes that may allow me to pass the exam also, even if I'm fearful. But that could be good wishes of other people, or like if there is some good deed I've done and there's some, stars aligned, or somehow I just passed the exam. But that's very, very unlikely, but a very small chance. The bigger chance is that because of that fear, the negative vibrations and the aura around me, the chances are I might fail. And if I fail, guess what? If I fail, I will give myself the proof that, look, I said to you, I'm not good enough. So that is a proof for me. So I keep proving to myself, and I just keep staying in this negative cycle. And there is no way for me to break out of it, because I'm trying to break out of it in the wrong place. So I'm always trying to break out of it at the feeling level. I feel fearful and I want to change my feeling somehow. Just before the exam, I'm watching a video, or I'm having a Kit Kat, or just taking something, just trying to change the feeling, not addressing the root cause of that feeling, which is that thought, I'm not good enough. So if I have to change that outcome of failing the test, the place I need to start is not the feeling, but the thought. So how do I do that? The way I can do it is very simple. I create a thought, I am good enough. And how does this work? It takes a lot of courage to create this thought, first of all, because a lot of times it's easy to create a negative thought. It's very easy, and negative thoughts are so fast and so catchy. You can catch them so easily. If one negative person says, "Oh, by the way, your driving is very mediocre," that's enough. That's enough for me to go into this negative cycle of I'm not good enough. So negative feelings are very catchy. They're like common cold. We can catch them very quickly. So, but the positive side, being positive, takes a lot of courage and determination. But it has to start at not the feeling level, it has to start at the thought level. So I start with the thought, I am good enough. And I have to prove it to myself that I am good enough. Yes, it takes courage, and people might say, oh, he's being, selfish or arrogant or whatever, but that's not true. I'm being positive, because that positive thought is going to create the positive feeling, and it's going to create the positive aura, and also it's going to bring benefit to me and my family and everyone around me. So just going through the example, let's say I create the courage and I say to myself before the exam, I am good enough, I will pass this exam with flying colors. The first thing that's going to happen, if I truly believe in this thought, which is the courage bit, then I'm going to start visualizing that I myself, I'm passing the exam. I visualize that scene that I'm coming out of the test exam, and the driver, the examiner is saying, wow, I could hardly fault your whole test. Only a few minor mistakes, by the way, Pankaj, you've done really well. Here's your result, and you've passed with flying colors. And I'm so excited and elated, and that's the imagination I'm creating just by one thought, I am good enough. And then I can remember and re-give myself those kind of moments when I have positively created some good results, some proofs I've created. If you've not created one before, it's okay. This is the first one. You can create this first one and then keep it for the next time. So as soon as I imagine these things, automatically the feeling of security, feeling of confidence, feeling of empowerment will start coming. So as I start feeling that empowerment, and then if I take the test, again, I would say 95%, because there could also be other aspects, but I'll say 95% or most likely I will pass the exam. And if I pass the exam, this is the proof I can keep in my pocket for next time. If I don't give up, because that's exactly what determination is. Like an ant we see climbing on the tree and keeps falling, but never gives up trying. So it'll keep trying, even if it falls, and there will be one day it will succeed. But that's the only way of succeeding. Like they say in Hindi, if you climb, you get to the sweetness. That's, if you fall, you try again, because if you're successful, you will taste the sweetness of success. So we keep trying, but that's where the courage comes in. And of course, this is the only methodology. This is what we are going to the root of the problem to solve our any kind of negative thoughts. So how do we manage this? So we we, as everybody who's, we understand this is the first session, and the first session we're talking about the mind. We're talking about how we are thinking. So one confidence that we need is that we have the capability to reframe our thinking process. Sometimes people say, oh, you know what, I can't change my thoughts because they are the result of what I see around me. Well, we'll talk about that angle also in a bit, because that's in the part two of what we're going to discuss today. But one statement, if I want to keep on my wall somewhere, because these are kind of statements that you want to keep reminding yourself. One is that, yes, I have the ability to change my thoughts. I can reframe my thinking process. I have the ability, not somebody else's ability, because the remote control of my thoughts is in my hands. So it's possible. So, this is one thing we need to be. And one tool that we can use to counter any negative thoughts, which we also call ants, ants, automatic negative thoughts. Does anybody want ants on their head? Nobody wants ants in their head, right? So they're automatic negative thoughts. When they come, we just push them on one side, but we use this tool called SOS. Sorry, somebody's saying something? Any question? Okay, so we use this tool called SOS. And how do we use it? To change my thought, let's look at it one by one. The first one is called stand back. Stand back. So how do we use stand back? When we have a chance to separate ourselves from the influence of my own thoughts. Just as you're watching a train of, going past all the time, you just watch your thoughts going past. It's almost like these are not your thoughts. Let's say your friend is going through some negative thoughts, your best friend, and he's saying, oh, I can't pass this test, I can't do this, it's just. But what you are doing is you're standing back. You are not in the same situation as your friend, because your friend has to take a driving exam. You don't have to take one. So you're actually separate from the actual situation. This is the same thing we have to practice inside. Just separate yourself from this task. Just stand back from that negative thought that, I can't pass the exam. And then what do you do after that? You just observe what you are thinking. Just observe yourself without any judgment, because very easy to judge, why am I thinking negatively? Why am I worried? It's very easy to judge, but let's not judge, because our best friend will never judge. So if we want to be our own best friend, then we never judge ourselves. Yes, I'm going through some negative thoughts and emotions. It's okay. I'm just observing them to understand what's going on. So once you're observing your thoughts, you can decide whether you would like them to be or not to be. It's your choice. But only if you're observing without judgment. And then the last thing you want to do after you've stood back, observed, okay, yes, this is what's happening to me. Now I need to change my thought, not my feeling. I know my feeling is fearful and worried, but now I need to steer my thoughts to this nice programming of positive thoughts. And for that, what do I need? I need a bag full of, just like Santa Claus, comes in Christmas with a bag full of gifts. I need a bag full of positive thoughts, which is why I said, if you see any good positive thought during this course, just write that down, put it on the wall, or, a post-it note in the kitchen or somewhere where you can keep looking at it, because you need a bag full of these positive thoughts so you can steer to them when this automatic negative thoughts come to you, or any feeling of worry, emotion, anxiety comes to you. Find out why it's coming, so you'll get a thought behind it, and then try and steer away. Just observe it and then try and steer away. So this is a good tool that you can try. It's an SOS tool. And we keep coming back to this tool, I think, again later on, and tomorrow also, just to remind you. But you're welcome to try and share your experience. And if you heard this before, maybe in some of our previous courses during the last few weekends, and if you tried it and you want to share something, of course, please feel free. So that's the tool. And finally, again, a very good one for your wall is, you are the creator of your own thoughts. Nobody else is creating these thoughts for you. And if something wrong is created and you're feeling worried, instead of blaming somebody, I have to take responsibility of that negative thought. Sometimes I'm feeling worried, and it's easy for me to say, today I'm feeling worried because, my brother didn't teach me driving. He should have taught me driving when I was little. He never did. Or my dad never gave me his car keys to drive. and hence because of him I'm now fearful. So I'm not taking responsibility of my own fear right now. And the reason why so I'll never get over it. I'll always try and just make excuses and try and have Kit Kat all the time. But I don't know if that'll work. But I'm not against Kit Kat, but I'm just saying that, we're trying to diverse ourselves into indulgence somewhere. But not taking responsibility of my own thoughts and feelings. But the fact is that we are the ones creating these thoughts. So instead of blaming, I take responsibility and I start forgiving. More forgiveness, the more responsibility I can take. So again, a good one to keep reminding ourselves. And big one, I have the power of choice. I have the power to change my thought, change the direction of my life, change my destiny. It's in my hands. That's why they say destiny is in your hands. In easy way, thoughts are in your hands. Destiny is, I don't have to worry about the result and the fruit. I just start looking at so again, a question: how do you stand back when someone is scolding you for not your fault? Okay, thank you, Shalini, for sharing that. So yeah, how do you stand back? I mean, we don't have to stand back from somebody scolding, because of course that is a situation we have to face. But we have to stand back from our own negative, you can say, reaction that's coming. So let's say somebody is scolding me right now, and they're I don't want to go to that extent, but the Prime Minister of India is a very good example. He's standing in Parliament, and constantly people are saying, "You're not doing this good. You're not doing that good. You're not doing this good," and you look at his face. He's like there and listening to all this. If I was there, I was thinking, "What's going on?" But he's just observing. And if he inside is getting agitated because of those guys in the opposition complaining and all the time criticizing, and when you see that inside the fast thoughts, oh, am I good enough, or those kind of negative thoughts are coming, then you can just stand back from those thoughts and observe what's going on here. Of course, you have to respond to what people are saying. So if they're criticizing you, you have to either apologize or do something to balance the situation. But before you do that, let's first find out what's going on here, which takes a split second. So standing back from my own thoughts and emotions and just observing what's going on here. If I'm feeling sudden rush of anger or sudden rush of irritation or frustration, then at least I should be aware of it, without judging. But at least I should be aware, oh, because he's saying this, I have a sudden rush of irritation coming out or sudden rush of anger coming out. That is stand back in observing. And then it's difficult to do it on the spot sometimes unless I've practiced before. If I'm able to steer at that time and I say, okay, it's okay, I forgive this guy. I know he's saying it from his point of view. Let me try and respond in a calm way from my point of view, because everyone's point of view is different. If I'm wearing a red color glass, then I'll see the world red. If you're wearing a green color glasses, then you will see the world green, and you will say, well, this is green, and I'll say, no, it's red. And we're both right. Nobody is wrong, and the truth is something totally different if we both take our glasses off. But let's that could be a debate and a long thing. But in short, we just observe our thoughts and try and steer away to this place of security so I can respond rather than react to it. Okay, yes, thank you. I understand, standing back from our own thoughts. And okay, thank you. Okay, that's clear. Okay, so that answers your question. Thank you. And one final one, again, a good positive quote to keep on your wall: where attention goes, energy flows, which means that wherever if I think negative, then I'm feeding that negativity. If I'm thinking positive, then I'm feeding the positivity. So even if it looks like, there's a good saying, fake it till you make it. It sounds very weird, but if I am positively inclined, then I can use that law of energy flowing to the positive outcome. So towards the outcome, if you look at any successful person in the world, look at, anyone. I mean, you talk about the owner of Elon Musk, or any of these people who've done really well, the owner of Virgin Media, and so many businessmen. the moment you ask them, why are you successful today? They'll say, I had already thought of it before this success today. So before they even go on this journey, they knew the outcome. They knew that they will reach here and they will not stop until they reach there. And that's most of the autobiographies that you will read. So that one focused energy of outcome, even though they knew they didn't have any money to start with, but they knew that tomorrow I will, have a business of 5,000 crores, or 500 million, or whatever. So they already knew it from the very start. That's the amazing thing about it. So all of us in our own little lives, you don't have to go to 500 million. It's up to you if you want to, but whatever your outcome, decide your outcome and then enter the task. And then you will notice that whatever place you're giving your attention to a positive outcome, you will start feeling it, that it starts manifesting in your life automatically because of the energy flow that you are giving. So ultimately, the success is also coming from your own energy. But if you don't get success, then instead of blaming, we have to take responsibility that it could be that I am the one feeding that negative outcome. So let me change my thoughts today. Instead of blaming people, because of you I failed, because of you I failed. No. Instead of that, forgive everyone and start focusing on your own energy. So with those nice, powerful lines, we're going to finish this session one. And maybe, if there's any questions in the session one that you guys want to, ask, then feel free. Otherwise, we will carry on. I'm conscious of time also. But sure, if there's any questions, then please raise them now. Okay, I think we can move on then.
Yeah,
Bhavna
so
ma'am?
Pankaj, you were talking about that SOS tool, right? And couple of slides back, I was discussing on the activity, right? So that activity, we have to basically observe our thoughts, right? And accept our thoughts. There is a programming of the intellect, right? There is a programming of the intellect which has been from many years. So to change that, even if we think for 2 minutes, right, that programming is going to shoot. That seed is going to shoot, and then it's going to develop. So basically, that thought process needs to be changed, and that is the way to start it. So we have to just observe and detach. And that comes with practice. That is what Pankaj was saying, that we have to just get detached. So that will not come when the situation will come. We have to practice it before to get that when the actual situation comes. Okay, so we discussed on our thoughts already and the tools and already. So let's now discuss about the influences on thinking. Sorry.
Yeah, this is Shalini here.
Okay.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just wanted to know, like in nowadays with this fast moving world, I find that even the attentions are very short span, and even, the attentions are distracted with so many influences, media influences around us. So, so I just wanted to know, like, how do you then channelize? Say, suppose if I want to do my work and I have 10 other things to do, and obviously my attention is distracted. So is there any tools that you would think that will help us focus? I know meditation is one tool, but any other tools that you feel that people can use it in their daily lives?
Should I go?
Yeah, please.
Bhavna? Okay, so thank you, Sister Shalini. Yes, of course, that's the whole challenge of life. That's the whole challenge where there are so many influences on our positive thinking, which is our, the one that we were just going to discuss now. So there are so many influences that we feel, but we have to classify. Maybe, once we finish this section, which is not, well, I mean, we have not finished the section today. I think we still have half an hour. So we will be going through this second part. And in this one, we will talk about influences, but we will categorize them in three big ways. Of course, as you mentioned, media. So we will take media as one of the examples as we continue. But you're right, it's influences, and we have to learn how to manage them. And we will discuss that in this session and also in tomorrow's session. So we will carry on with this example, and we'll try and answer your question hopefully between today and tomorrow, if it's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's start. Okay, so the aim of the session will be basically like we face challenges and getting positive or staying positive most of the times. So we will be seeing how to overcome these obstacles or the roadblocks. Now, objective of this session will be focused on awareness on our qualities, the obstacles which come when we actually, like this relates to Shalini Ben's question, like when we start to become positive, what are the obstacles we get? And we will basically to overcome these obstacles, and then we will definitely be going with the meditation to reflect what we studied. Okay, so now we have again the activity. I just want to ask everyone, what is the main thing you are looking in your lives? What is that one main thing you all need in your life? Please feel free to unmute yourself.
Win the lottery.
Happiness or peace.
Okay. Okay, happiness. That's good. That's a good answer. Okay. Pankaj, that needs to win a lottery.
Success.
Sorry?
Success.
Okay, success. Okay. Yeah. So good. So okay, fine. Okay, so we all know what we need in our life. That is very good. So, okay. So all these, whatever we need. So I have been hearing from so many people, like, I need money, I need a good job. I basically need a good car, okay, and new house, a branded dress, okay, joy, happiness, peace. Yes, right. That's right. So ultimately, what we really are looking for, these are the qualities. So if we see, so what we are in turn looking for is peace, love, joy, strength, and wisdom. So these are the innate qualities. These are the qualities of our soul, right? Which is like we are connected to our original nature. Suppose we buy a car and we don't want it. We buy a car, we become happy, we become like joyous. Okay, we will show it to our friends and family. So we are basically we're very happy with these days, right? But ultimately, what we need peace of mind. What happens we don't want that the car to break down, right? Because if the car breaks down, will that take my peace of mind? If I have bought an expensive flower vase, right? And it's very expensive, beautiful in your living room, and it just breaks. So what is that situation? Will you lose your peace of mind? So what ultimately we have to develop these inner qualities. So suppose there is a mango seller. One person went to a mango seller and he was already earning a good amount of money by selling all those mangoes to different vendors and everywhere. Now somebody has a like, you can open a big shop and then you can have a warehouse and this might lead you to more money and all, right? The mango seller said, I'm already very joyous. I'm peace. I have peace at heart, right? I have peace of mind. I don't want a big one because this is something which I already have. So the crux is the thing which you already have, which is a true nature of yourself. You don't need to run after that. You basically have to be peace with that. You have to be, you need to just recognize that and move forward. So that is something we all have to streamline our energy towards. So these are some of the qualities we just saw and the expressions we emit out of these. If somebody has peace, then definitely you will see the patience, gentleness in the character, in the body language everywhere, right? If you have love, Then care, kindness, generosity are some of the characters which will be visible from that person. Same as with joy, strength, wisdom. You know, wisdom, a person is actually knows what is wrong and right. That is wisdom. So that is a clarity which brings, which is actually evident from a person's character expressions. So that is something. So what is, so we discussed that I am the creator of my thoughts. Whatever I create, I'm going to emit that, right? When I think, I choose to change and develop these qualities. So what happens is we live life joyfully and with enthusiasm rather than just dragging it, running for it. But if we know that these are the qualities which we need, we will be just moving towards that, and whatever we have, we will be content with that and try to develop it on the go. Okay, so this is a very interesting question. What are the obstacles that challenge us being positive? Most of the time, I'm sure we are connected to our innate qualities. We are smiling, we are happy, we are peace at heart, everything we have. But I'm sure there will be some external factors which definitely changes our thought process, and we change the lens through which we actually look at the situation. Pankaj bhai, let's hear that from you. What do you think about this?
Okay, let me create a miracle and all our challenges are vanished in the next few minutes. And then all of us are positive forever and we don't have to worry about it for the rest of our lives. And that would be amazing. So, but the fact is that yes, we all have these obstacles. And I keep talking about the Prime Minister of India, but Narendra Modi, I really admire that some of his comments that come out, and the amount of negativity and the obstacles that he's facing, it amazes me. Politics in general amazes me. Like even here in the UK, and we see the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, and you see something happening in the Parliament, and I'm thinking, what kind of resilience, what kind of skin are these guys made up of? How do they manage such amount of uh, opposition that we get? If imagine a little bit of opposition we face in our life and we feel, oh my God, that's a big obstacle. And how do I manage it? Like Shalini Ben was saying about media and influences that we have. But instead of first of all, looking at these small influences, let's try and categorize these influences in three big ways first. And then, of course, we can break down into other ways. So what do we do, first of all, with these obstacles? Just try and understand. Then let's look at what these three mainly are. So one can be influence of any kind of circumstance. It could be anything. It could be, suddenly, there were no, like, I mean, I have to change from writing something to going on a laptop for the first time, or some other circumstance that has happened in my life, like, for example, weather has changed, or my career has to change because of, this new AI, new technology, and everything coming in this world. And there is something that suddenly like life is full of changes. The most permanent thing about life is change. So any kind of circumstance that comes in front of me is an obstacle, is an influence, is an influence to my thoughts. Like I said, SOS is when some circumstance or something comes, there is something going on here. Whether I'm accepting it, I'm able to mold with it, like gold, like real gold can mold. But iron, if you try and mold, you have to, it'll be difficult. If it's too brittle, it will break. So instead of being brittle, am I flexible? Am I soft? Am I able to mold in situations? So first of all, I have to look at this big category of any kind of circumstance that comes in my life, which is creating an influence. So I should be aware, okay, this is a circumstance and this is creating an influence of obstacle in my life. That's the first one. The second one could be my possessions, things like that I call mine, like my laptop, the one I'm saying here, my car, my house, my books, or my way of thinking, my uh, what I think is right. This is my way of life. So if I keep my pen in a certain way, on the desk, if somebody moves that pen even at 90 degrees, it causes me that level of irritation, then at least I should be aware. There's no need to be judgmental, of course. Everybody has their own preferences, and there's nothing wrong about that. But instead of being judgmental, being aware that this is influencing me. Because I call this my mouse and my laptop, if anybody comes and touches it, it influences me. That's all I need to be aware of without any judgment. So yes, there could be some possessions that I don't want other people to mess about with, and that's perfectly okay, because I have a certain way of a thought pattern, a way of thinking, and so on. But at least I should be aware that this is causing me a little bit of a negative wave inside my head. So that's another influence. So one is a circumstance changes. Second is my possessions, what I call mine. If something happens to those possessions, like, there are examples here that, if I see somebody getting a new kitchen, I also want one. Or, is this the right color shoe I'm wearing? Or somebody moved my books, or somebody scratched my car, and so on. Just a general example. But possessions, anything I feel is mine. The word mine is the key here. And the third big influence is people. People, like, if people are reacting in a way, again, I come back to politics. People are standing in front of me, constantly criticizing me. So and then I say, okay, and then in my own little house I say, oh, why don't you do it in a certain way? I talk to my kids, and why don't you put after you played, put your toys away, and you have to put your toys over there. If you don't put it over there, and it's an influence. It's one of those influences that's causing some negative thinking. The whole reason I'm categorizing these three influences is because they cause some kind of negative vibration, some negative tingling, here inside me, which I need to correct. So if I'm aware of them, I can do something about it. If I'm not aware of it, then I have to then find temporary measures, like find a Kit Kat, or I have to make somebody apologize to me, which might take a year, 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, I don't know. Or maybe, if I'm forceful, I say, oh, I force you to apologize, and that kind of thing I can try, but it's not going to cause any kind of benefit to anyone. So let's be aware of these three kind of big influences. It's either people, situations, which is circumstances, or my possessions. And of course, when I'm talking about technology, that can come in anything. It could be either in my possessions, or it could also be in a circumstance. So influences of possessions, circumstances, and people. Yeah. So these are the three influences. So I can see in the chat message. Okay, so yeah, these are the three main influences. Now the question is, what do we do with these obstacles or influences? What do we do with them? So let's see what we can do to change this influence. So what happens when you focus your thoughts on yourself instead of focusing it on the situation, people, or possessions, whatever is influencing me? Instead of, the easy answer is, instead of creating any kind of outward vision, let's change the way we see things. Our body is designed in a way that we always see outside. Eyes are always focused outside. But when you close your eyes, you can turn your face inwards. You can actually turn your face inwards. So when you turn your face inwards, you can actually start seeing what's happening inside your body. You can start feeling what your heartbeat is doing. You can start feeling, the blood flow. Of course, we don't have any sensors inside the body. We have sensors outside the body. So everything is sensing from outside in. But the way we can think can be more inside out. That's how we have to design our thinking. So that's when we design our thinking in going inwards, then there can be a big shift of feelings. The whole idea is for me to feel happy all the time. That's the whole idea of this course, right? Why are we doing positive thinking course? Because we want to be consistently, all the time, every time, feeling happy. Does anyone here says, no, I would rather be sad, I'd rather be angry, I'd rather be irritated, frustrated, or jealous, or hating somebody? Or anyone here who would like those kind of feelings? I doubt it, right? So it's a rhetorical question. But what we want is that constant happiness or constant peace. And people say, oh, in this world, it's not possible. In this world, it's not possible. And you're right, it's not possible because the world is constantly changing. And if I consistently stay outside, it's not possible. The only thing that's not changing constantly is what's happening inside. I still have the same way my heart works, same way my organs work, same way I digest my food. Doesn't matter if AI comes and makes my life a lot easier. I drive in autonomous cars, or I fly and have a flying car, or whatever it is. My body is still going to stay the same. I'm still going to stay the same. Everything that's happening inside the body will be exactly the same, unless I'm a robot, which means I'm not alive. That's the robot. So which means that one consistent thing that I have is me, myself, inside. And the most control I have is of myself rather than anybody else. So I cannot control anybody who's getting influenced and worried about, anything outside. So I cannot control them, but I can start looking at myself, changing the face. So when I start focusing on myself, the whole world starts changing. I start feeling more secure. So what do? I can take the obstacles and I can use them as stepping stones to go up in my life. That's a statement, again, I'm taking from the Prime Minister of India. He said it in his speech. He says, the opposition throws stone at me, and I use those stones to step up in my life, and he said that, and I was impressed. And again, I keep that as one of my mottos all the time. There is an obstacle is there, but it's instructing me that I need to change something. I need to change something, not obstructing me. The obstacle is there. Of course, there are people who are not responding in a certain way, and media is influencing them, and I'm getting influenced, and so on and so on. But I know that this is instructing me that I need to change what do I need to change? Feeling or thought? What do I need to change? I'm sure the answer is clear. Thought. Correct. That's right. So I don't need to change my feeling, because if I change my thought, I will get the right feeling. So any kind of obstacle that comes, I know what to do. I need to change something here if I'm getting irritated. But if the obstacle comes and I don't feel irritated, I'm stable and I'm able to face it and overcome it at some point. Of course, it might take time, but let's say I'm able to overcome it, then that's a confidence booster for me. That means that I have taken everything in a very positive way. That means I can again give myself the proof. Yes, I can do it. Yes, it's possible. And yes, I can stay positive. So obstacles are always there to show me a new path. And of course, I have a choice, like we said, being free from any external influence, relying on my own inner resource of all, the qualities of peace, love, power, happiness, strength of any kind. It could be strength of, your own strength, your own inner resilience. All these are my resources. That's why they say if you want to earn anything in life, these are the earnings that make you rich, because the physical earning will definitely come if your spiritual earnings are high. That's an automatic result. So what do I get? What is the result of all, if I'm able to do this kind of positive thinking, then I get freedom. Freedom doesn't mean that, yes, we live in a free country. Of course, we have freedom of doing certain things. But freedom doesn't mean that there is no rules or regulation. No, that's not freedom. The freedom just means that I'm able to experience and express what I want. Even if I'm staying in a rule and regulated world, it doesn't matter. Like Nelson Mandela is a very good example. He was living in the prison for 20 odd years, but yet he was free in his mind. He was living in so many, problems, and people used to come and abuse him and again criticize him, and for not just 1 or 2 years, 20 odd years. And yet he was able to forgive the jailer and everybody as soon as he came out. That's it. And he was not even doing it for any of his own fault. He was doing it for people, that benevolent thought. So being able to think and experience and express whatever I want without the influence and obstacles coming from outside is what real freedom is. Okay, so we are able to get that. And again, we can use the SOS technique. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. We've just, we've just gone through it. So we stand back, we observe our thoughts and see what's influencing us and try and steer ourselves to this nice pot of strong thoughts that we have created. So that's the SOS technique we used. So that kind of brings us to the close of the two sessions. And the way I'd like to, maybe we've got 4 minutes now. So the way, what I would like to do rather is maybe have a few minutes of meditation. And we're going to learn this meditation technique. It's a 5 simple step of meditations, of meditation. And this will be a technique we can keep with us also to improve our resilience. So I'm going to share the screen, and this next 3 minutes and 25 seconds, we will enjoy these 5 steps of meditation. So if you just give me a moment, I'm just going to try and connect. Simple steps. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Find a quiet space and sit down. Take a deep breath and gently allow your whole body to relax. Become focused by moving your awareness inwards to the center of your forehead. This is the seat of the soul. Focus on this point. Within this silent and still space, awaken a spiritual thought. For example, I am a peaceful soul. Hold this thought. Don't think hard about it. Allow your mind to wrap itself around this simple positive thought. I am a peaceful soul, a being of peace. Hold this thought in your mind and very slowly allow your heart to experience it. Reaffirm the thought if you need to. Say it again to yourself and deeply experience it. As I hold this thought, I become the form of the thought. I am completely absorbed in the experience of the thought. This is meditation.
Pankaj, this was so blissful.
Thank you. So thank you, everyone.